Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, bitches and motherfuckers. Welcome to another edition of Chronic Confusion. We are here yet again to talk about some shit and some stuff. And you can listen. If not, we don't give a shit. Fuck off. I'm just kidding.
No,
don't
please,
fuck off.
yeah, please listen.
Please listen and let us know what you think. This is just going to be an all geek out episode. We're going to be talking about comic books and comic book movies and stuff related to that. Maybe not necessarily comic book movies and whatnot, and horror movies, and just a little bit of everything to talk about in that realm.
I think I'd like to first point out that, now it's cool to like geeky and nerdy things.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, it was not.
Oh yeah, I'm right there with you.
People didn't go, "Oh, you're a geek, man. That's pretty cool. I wear fake glasses that look geeky too, man." No, back then it was like, "Oh, you're a geek. Here's a wedgie and a swirly. Enjoy your life, nerd."
The same friends I have now that are into that type of stuff that I had back then used to make fun of me for that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, if I would be like, "Oh, man, like, alright, something random, like bitching about Batman and Robin when that came out."
Yeah.
They would be like, it was going to suck anyways. It's a fucking comic book movie. And like shit like that. It's like, dude, nowadays people are all, even though they would have hated that too because that's a shitty movie.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that they wouldn't even thought twice about it. There wouldn't even be a conversation about it.
Exactly.
And now these days there will be. But, whatever. As long as it's, I'm happy. And there's,
'cause we're getting everything we wanted to.
Yeah, and there's a lot of talk I've seen recently of people being like, "Oh, we're gonna get burned out on comic book movies and these big action films," and I'm just like, you know what? Yeah, the idea of taking already established comic book characters and making these big budget movies out of them is kind of a new thing, But when you think about it, like action movies have always kind of been like comic books. Just live action comic, but like Die Hard, clearly,
Last Action Hero.
like all these big action movies from the 80s and 90s could have easily been based off of comic books, even though they weren't.
Yeah.
The heroes were over the top, indestructible. Fucking the villains were indestructible. Like there was always this whole big. They're the same movies, just different characters and different source material, basically. So no. I mean, yeah, the direct adaptations might die off a little bit here in a few years because people might get tired of it, but I don't think they will.
I've got a friend who's all like, "Oh, I'm so tired of comic book movies. I don't even want to watch them."
There's plenty of other movies being
why?
made. Don't watch them.
Why don't you want to watch them? Like, just because they're doing well?
I don't know.
Yeah. I'm just burnt out. Why? Why? They're fucking awesome. If you like the source material, you should at least give it a try.
Well, I mean, don't. Or don't, because like I said, there's plenty of other movies coming out that aren't related to comic books.
That's true.
It's just the comic book movies are making the most money right now, so of course they're going to get the most attention.
Yeah.
And I mean, the reason they're making the most money is for shit that we were saying back in the day. Because,
wouldn't it be awesome to watch fucking Spider-Man beat the shit out of Venom live on screen?
Well, yeah, and it's like, and it's not even that. It's like the idea, like you would read the stories in the comics, like, man, this is way better than anything that's been in a movie so far.
Yeah.
Why don't they adapt this story to the big screen? It would make $1 billion.
And I mean, really,
it
kind of started like becoming like a more heavily marketed thing. Kind of like in the late '80s and early '90s when you got, like the newer editions of like. The newer Spider-Man, the newer Batman, the newer X-Men cartoon series, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cartoon series, So even as a kid, if you weren't into comic books, you were still exposed to it.
Yeah, exactly.
With something in animation.
Yeah. And selling action figures was a big thing back then too.
Toys are awesome.
And that's cartoons were like 20-minute fucking action figure infomercials back in the day, basically. I mean, we'll talk about the Ninja Turtles later, but that's, the Ninja Turtles cartoon was basically made just to sell the toys.
Yeah, well, going with the action figures, like, the craziest things would be, like, the Spider-Man and Batman action figures, like, who would have, like, the most fucked up, like, extra accessories going on, like, Space Batman. When did Batman go to space in the cartoon? No, he didn't. But this is a toy that's just like your other toys, but he's got a spacesuit on.
Exactly.
Buy it.
I
And,
had all those variations.
Yeah, we were kids. It's like, yeah, I'm buying it. Mom, buy it.
So, before we get into all that, some nerd news that came across recently. Basically, first thing I want to talk about is it is Yvonne DiCarlo's birthday. Well, yesterday, the 1st of September, which I don't know when this episode is going to release. So, basically, the 1st September was Lily Munster's birthday. She died back in 2007, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. But recently, this picture, these two pictures, have been going around online, just in memoriam, and hot pictures. But number one, whoever made these is a fucking douchebag. First of all, the girl on the left is not the same girl as the one on the right. Second of all, the heads are clearly pasted on, so that's not even Lily Munster's real body. That's not even an actress or a model dressed up to look like Lily Munster.
No.
It's Lily Munster's head plastered on a model's body, which is ridiculous, because if you want to honor her memory, why would you put out a picture like that?
Yep.
What fucking asshole was like, oh, well, she's not attractive enough, or I'm going to put her fucking head on some fucking other bitch's body and make it black and white so people believe it's actually her.
Chronic fappers.
Yeah, chronic fucking fappers. That's who the fuck it is. So, if you see these pictures, do us all a favor and tell the person to fuck off, because that's not who she is. And clearly, anybody that's reposting these pictures and really pretending like they give a shit about Lily Munster has never seen an episode of the fucking Munsters.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say that right off the fucking bat. That's just the truth of the matter. Never seen an episode of the Munsters, so I'm going to show you an episode right now. Just so we get the record straight. I hate this fucking thing. Okay. I'm not going to turn the volume up because I don't want to get a copyright strike. But we're going to take a look at the actual Lily Munster. And you tell me if she looks like... There she is. Does that look anything like that?
No, she doesn't have breast augmentation.
No, not at all. So, yeah.
I mean, she wasn't like... she's not saying that she didn't have an attractive body, but, it didn't, like... That's like what you consider attractive today.
I mean, but I think even by today's standards, I think she's pretty fairly attractive.
Yeah, but
I'm not a fan of the big fake titties.
Right, me either, but that's what most people are like. They're like, oh yeah, give me them big old titties. So
I don't know. I think you'd be surprised if they're nice to look at, but I think most guys would say they prefer not to have fake tits.
At the very least, that's what all the guys at my work are like. They're like, fake tits, man, big old titties. I don't like them.
Fuck that. But yeah, so again, I think she was very attractive, just the way she was, and it's silly that people want to. And again, it pisses me off because these people are all like, "Oh, rest in peace, Lily Munster," and they have no idea what Lily Munster looks like, because if they did, they wouldn't even bother posting those pictures. They would go and they would find some real fucking pictures of Yvonne DiCarlo and post those, like these. Look at how beautiful she is, man. Now, see, this picture in the bottom right is actually the head that was pasted onto that other picture.
Yep.
I'll show it, and I'll put them side by side. So there's that one, the one on the left, and the one on the bottom right. Same fucking head, same facial expression, same hair, everything. It's just been touched up to make it fit more with the picture. And you can even see how the edge of the hair there, because it's not in the other picture, has been drawn on.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so pathetic, but people will fucking post it because they don't... Like, look, I understand you want to show some love to one of our great fallen actresses, but at the same time, why not go find a real picture? Why just post the first one you come across? And like, oh, she was so beautiful. Look how hot she was. And it's like, no, that's not even her.
I mean, it's like
yes, she was hot, but that's not her.
Walkie-talkies in all the officials' hands instead of guns.
So that's that. Lily Munster, you are very much missed. One of the greats, one of the very first chicks that I found sexually attractive, I would imagine. Because my dad used to make me watch these reruns like a motherfucker when I was a kid.
Well, it's a good show.
Yeah, it's a great show. I've been meaning to get them all on DVD, but I have yet. And let's talk about one more downer before we go on to the good stuff. We actually lost a legend this week,
Yep.
just the other day, who brought us an amazing movie and inspired a very entertaining franchise, Mr. Wes Craven, creator of A Nightmare on Elm Street, the Scream series. Now, the thing...
Which is basically him doing a satirical look at
the shit he
type
created.
of movie that he created. Yeah.
Exactly, which is awesome. I was raised on A Nightmare on Elm Street. My mother, I can remember back being very young, she rented A Nightmare on Elm Street, and pretty much any time a new one came out, she would rent them. And we would sit and we would watch them together, and she would let me watch them because they didn't really give me nightmares, and I actually enjoyed them.
Yeah.
I was like a little 4-year-old kid, like loving me some Freddy Krueger, which is really weird considering he was a child murderer, and possibly a child molester, even though they don't really get into that so much in the old ones, but in that remake they did a few years ago, that was like their main focal point.
Oh yeah.
And that was kind of something people hated. And that was another thing, people were like, he wasn't a child molester, he was a child murderer. And I'm like, well, actually...
yeah, let's argue which one's worse.
Yeah, well, but if you read into between the lines of the old one, yes, he was a child molester. They just chose not to fucking focus on it very much because it was distasteful.
Yeah.
You know, like they wanted to focus on him being more of a sadistic murderer.
He's very, very sexual in the taunts.
Yeah, and it was implied many times that he was a molester.
You can also thank Wes Craven for Johnny Depp.
Yeah, exactly. So,
like slasher, which he didn't do the very first slasher film.
But, well, no,
but he really helped.
He came up with a very original idea. Whenever at the time, like it seemed
was just
like
a guy in a mask gonna kill everybody.
Well, it seemed like every idea for a slasher movie had been done at that point.
Yeah.
And then he happened to read these newspaper articles from Japan, or it might have been a documentary that he saw. Whichever it was, but basically there were these kids who were afraid to go to sleep because they were having these nightmares.
Yeah.
And they were staying up days and weeks at a time by drinking coffee and taking no-dos and shit. And one of the kids was found dead. He had died in his sleep, and they found a coffee maker in his bedroom and an end table drawer full of no-dos. So basically, that's where he got the inspiration for it. Because in that first movie, Nancy does that.
Yeah.
She has the fucking coffee pot in her bedroom and all that shit.
And Nancy was so hot.
Yeah. So it was weird because, like, all these kids were saying something was trying to kill them in their dreams, and they wouldn't go to sleep. And then finally, when they went to sleep, they got killed.
Yep.
Like, or they died, in their sleep. Which, could be... sleep deprivation is a monster. It can end up fucking you over pretty good. I've dealt with it before. It can make you sick. It could do all kinds of stuff to you, especially staying up that long.
Yeah, your body's got to recuperate.
But he was a genius in his time, and he made a lot of movies that were bad. He wasn't flawless, but he did get Meryl Streep an Oscar nomination. What was the name of that movie? Hold on, let me pull it up.
Music of the Heart.
Music of the Heart. That was the movie that he directed that she got an Oscar nomination for. He did the first 4 Scream movies, the first Nightmare on Elm Street, which was awesome, and he produced, I think, the rest of them, but he didn't write another one until New Nightmare,
right?
Which was awesome.
Yeah,
like,
that was a good one.
In my ranking of Nightmare on Elm Street films, because Nightmare on Elm Street is my favorite horror franchise, if I had to rank them, I would say that Nightmare 1 comes first, and New Nightmare comes in a tie second with Nightmare 3, The Dream Warriors. And the only reason I like Nightmare 3...
It's kind of more slapsticky.
It was kind of like it had a good balance. It was, they brought back Nancy, and it kind of went back to the core of the story, but it kind of started to introduce the sillier side.
Yeah.
But it still had enough of the scary, suspenseful side. I don't think he. I feel like he had more to do with that one. Let me see here. I know he didn't write it. Let's see here. Dream Warriors. I have the Never Sleep Again, the Elm Street Legacy. Have you seen that?
No.
It's this like 4-hour documentary. I think it's on Netflix now, but I bought it when it first came out. It's signed. I've got it signed by Nancy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and shit. And I have
So you met Nancy?
Too. No, I ordered it. I've met her before, but when I got that, I ordered it off the website.
Was she still hot?
She's still pretty hot. I mean, she's older. You know, she's in her 50s now.
Older women can be hot.
But yeah, she's decent.
You still
enough.
look at her and be like, "Hello, Nancy."
I mean, yeah, I'd still hit it.
All right, man. I trust your judgment.
I mean, which that's a different scale for celebrities.
Yeah, oh, duh. I mean, like,
like I would still fuck the Brady mother, you know, and
Dude,
she's not all that attractive
I would fuck
anymore.
Betty White.
Yeah,
I think
Betty White.
I think she's like even more attractive now.
Okay,
Is
Chrome
that
has
weird?
decided not to work for me, but okay, yeah, the director was Chuck Russell. Yeah, Craven did the story and he wrote the screenplay with Chuck Russell, Frank Darabont, and Bruce Wagner.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Wes Craven will be missed. He was a pioneer. He was a revolutionary, which I guess is the same as pioneer. But yeah, he brought probably one of the most important movie franchises in my life to the world, which was Nightmare on Elm Street.
Right.
And again, like I said, most of them are silly as fuck. And supposedly they're doing another reboot, which I talked about on a video about a month or two ago. And hopefully they don't try to... Because the 2010 reboot, like, I think the problem with that was they tried too hard to pay homage to the original, and they just completely ripped off scenes and like did them horribly.
Yeah,
it's
I heard
like, dude,
that
why do that? Just toss all that old shit out and do something new.
I heard that they're totally doing another technically reboot, and I heard Robert Englund's gonna play him again.
He's not going to.
Oh, he should.
But he's not. I looked that up. He's not. He's too
rumor?
old.
Hey man, Harrison Ford's not too old to be Han fucking Solo.
Yeah, but he doesn't have to wear a fucking ton of makeup to do it either.
Peter Mayhew's not too old to be Chewbacca. Counterpoint.
Again, but he just wears a suit.
That would make me have to ask if Anthony Daniels is still playing, or is he just voicing C-3PO?
There's a big difference between a suit and latex makeup. You know.
Well, back then I'd agree, but today I think they could probably pull that off with lighter material.
Yeah, I don't know.
It would still be a bitch of like 8 hours sitting in a chair before a shoot and 4 hours after a shoot.
Bottom line is, he said he's not going to be doing it.
Rumor debunked. You heard it here on Chronic Confusion.
Okay, so that's it. Wes Craven, again, I don't really believe in the afterlife, but if your energy is still out there somewhere and somehow you're catching all this, we appreciate what you did.
It is, man. Matter can neither be created or destroyed because it eventually just becomes energy.
Yeah, but to what extent of
stardust to stardust, Wes
to
Craven.
what extent of cognition that energy has is still yet to be determined. So
agreed. But yeah, man, we lost a great one. It sucks.
And that's pretty much that. So yeah, let's get on to we did a whole fucking episode about Star Wars.
Force Friday's coming up.
Yeah, so let's talk about this new footage we've got here.
Very short, but it's very fucking awesome.
So, like, what is that? Oh my god.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun. So there's the image that has everybody jizzing their pants.
Okay.
Or not.
So like, just to clear it up, I'm not 100% sure if I touched on this or not, but basically, alright, so everyone's like, oh my god, why does Finn have a lightsaber? Is he a Jedi?
Because he's defending himself and it's the only weapon he has at hand, maybe?
Exactly. The fact is that the scene right here is, it's closer to the end of the movie. Well, They try to force Rey into taking on the lightsaber, and she doesn't want to. And this is when they come back and they're rescuing her.
Which
like
to
I
me
said,
says more about the fact that she's probably going to end up being the Jedi.
oh yeah,
Because
that's pretty much
that's
heavily
the whole
it.
thing. Like that
They
usually
both,
happens in these stories. Like the
yeah.
hero doesn't want to be the hero, then all of a sudden they have to be the hero.
I mean, they both might get trained because I mean, we have to see how well he holds it off. But you know, supposedly both Rey and Finn fight him, but Finn fights first and gets injured, and then
Yeah.
Rey steps in. So I mean, honestly, 16 seconds. Yeah, it's short, but God, was it so cool just to see Kylo light that lightsaber up again, and then show that he's doing it to
So
fight
you were
Finn.
more excited about the footage we've already seen a million times than you were about this new thing.
Dude, I'm excited about every goddamn tidbit that comes out about this movie,
I
man.
can
Like,
tell.
I mean,
Are you still going to be like, since you supposedly know the whole story?
okay, yeah. all
Now
right,
let's say that you go to the movie and it plays out exactly like you explained it on our episode.
Yeah,
Will you still be excited by it?
I will still watch it another 15, 20 times in theaters. Like,
There's a lot of people
I've
like,
had
don't
this-
spoil it for
yeah,
me. Don't spoil
yeah,
it for
yeah.
me. I mean, I don't
and
really
I
care,
understand that, man. Some people can't have that enjoyment anymore.
But yeah.
To me, like, knowing everything about this movie is my enjoyment right now. And then when I get to see this movie, that'll be my enjoyment. Like,
Fair enough.
even if everything that's come out about it is completely wrong, which as more shit gets released, it seems that it's not. But I mean, I don't care if it's a completely different thing than what we've talked about, or if it's the exact same thing. It doesn't matter to me. It's a new Star Wars movie, and I'm going to come in my pants probably 15 times throughout the first screening.
Now, let me see here. What's the next thing on the docket? Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. So there's another aspect to that way of looking at things, which is sometimes information about a movie gets leaked out, and then the movie comes out and it's nothing like it's the complete opposite of everything everybody said about it so far.
Which could have been a byproduct from the leak.
Yeah, and that's what happened. Give me just a second here. That's what happened with this little movie here. Originally, the turtles were supposed to be from outer space.
Alien turtles.
Yeah, which the fans pretty much shit all over, and they changed that.
Real
which
quick.
I'm on board with. But there was a whole script that was leaked, which did feature that plot line. But, I mean, they could have easily just changed that part of the plot and kept that script.
Yeah.
But they changed pretty much the whole fucking script that leaked originally, which I don't blame them for, but it seems like they kind of rushed it because, look, I love this movie. I think it was a cool flick. I think it could have been...
I didn't think it was bad. It was pretty enjoyable.
Yeah, it was enjoyable. It could have been 30 minutes longer, I think, because, look, they're drawing inspiration from the current run of the comic books.
Uh-huh.
Which is one thing that people don't seem to understand. Because, look, I understand that most people's relation to the Turtles is the cartoon show from the 90s. Well, late 80s, early 90s. Which is all fine and good, and I understand that's what they're most popular for. But you need to understand that before there was that, there were the comic books.
Yeah.
And the stories in the comic books were 10 times better than anything we ever got on TV. Or anything we've had in the movie so far. The first original...
more violent, wasn't it?
Way more violent, way
Yeah.
more dark, way more serious. Like, it was originally a parody of what Marvel was doing at the time, because they were like really mutant heavy at the time.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a response to that. And they were just joking around when they did it, but they made it really dark because it was silly to see these ridiculous characters in such a serious manner.
Right.
You know, and they were fighting crime and doing all this, but the stories were really fucking good. Like, once they got into it, now the first one that they did, they thought it would be the only one they were going to do. So, it was decent enough, and pretty much, if you've seen the movie from 1989, or 1990, whenever it came out, you've seen the first issue of the comic book, pretty much.
Yeah.
It is pretty much paced the same. There's certain things they drew from other issues that came later, but the basic was Shredder dying at the end, and in the comic books, Leonardo is the one that gets hurt, not Raphael, when they go to the thing. So basically, the first original movie from back in the day was very accurate to the original comics. So that's kind of like what bothers me. Like these days, whenever people where's Bebop, where's Rocksteady, where's this, and where's Krang, and where's that, and well, it's like, yeah, Krang was in the original comics, and he's in the new comics, but it's not the Krang that you remember from the cartoon show.
Yeah.
And if they put him in the movie, it's unless they decide to go full on with the fans and with the cries for it being more like the cartoon, which I don't think they're going to do. I think they're going to keep it to the comics. Krang is going to be a much scarier, much more threatening character.
Yeah.
And he's going to be the leader of this alien race that's trying to terraform the Earth.
Okay.
That basically all the aliens look just like him. Probably.
Okay. So that was actually in the comic books originally?
Or
did the TV show introduce the Technodrome?
The TV show did.
Okay. Because I know that's super popular
the
with
newer
a lot
comics,
of Turtles fans.
The newer comics, which are awesome, everybody needs to read them, introduced the Technodrome in a really cool way. It's a terraforming thing. They're trying to make the Earth more like their planet in Dimension X.
Ooh, let's go.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool.
Wait, did you say Dimension X or Dimension Sex?
Either one.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. But, so basically, yeah, I think it's great. Like, you could see in this movie that they were trying to draw inspiration from the new run of comics. Because people were complaining about the fact that April O'Neil wasn't a TV reporter, or well, she was, but when she was younger, her dad worked in the lab, and where the turtles and shit were experimented on, and that's how they became the turtles. That's how they got mutated.
Yeah.
Well, people were complaining about that, but what they fail to realize, or what they just don't know, is that in the new run of comics, the story is that April's not a TV reporter. She's actually an assistant in Baxter Stockman's lab, who is working on this program to turn animals into soldiers, basically, for Krang. And it's all the secretive operation. She thinks it's like some kind of other testing facility or something.
Yeah.
And so basically, he's been injecting the Turtles and Splinter with this stuff, and eventually the Foot Clan breaks in and sets fire to the place and does something, I guess I forget the reason, but it was a whole conspiracy.
Yeah.
You just got to read it. But basically, what the movie has done, but in a different kind of way. They put their own spin on it.
Right.
But my biggest gripe is the fact that it's obvious that the Shredder was not going to be a part of this movie. That he was, but he wasn't going to be the Shredder that they eventually went with using, which is more like the one from the comics. Which is basically... The reason I think it should be like 30 minutes longer is because they really could have got into the Shredder's origin, which is just awesome in the new comic, because he's an ancient. Basically, it's all about reincarnation. He's an ancient fucking dude from Japan that Krang has been here since like the dawn of time, like their alien ship crash landed on Earth. Way back in the day, like in the 16th century or something.
Yeah.
And so they set up shop in Japan, waiting for technology to catch up so they could build a transporter to get back home.
So they live for a long time.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, they live for forever because they're whatever they have with them helps them do it.
Nanobots.
Yeah. So basically, Shredder. Back in the day, he has this, I don't know if it's daughter or somebody that works with him that is dealing with Krang to get this mutagen stuff that's supposed to help you live longer. And so that's basically the Shredder that's in the comics now has been around for hundreds of years. He was resurrected at the beginning of the comic series to come back and lead the Foot Clan and all this stuff. But they didn't go into any of that
Yeah.
in the movie. He was just this guy that was there.
Right.
You know, he was just tacked on. It's like, dude, you could have put an extra 20 to 30 minutes in the movie and given us some stuff of the turtles hanging out, being brothers.
Yeah.
You know, because there wasn't nearly enough of that. There should have been more of them just hanging out doing stuff. Like, it got to the action and the scenes just way too quick. And you could have had this whole fucking story of Shredder and Krang.
Doesn't that come back kind of to our society wanting instant gratification?
Yeah, but I think I think more people would have enjoyed the movie better because, like, some things would have been explained more and there would have been more character development, especially for the Turtles. Like,
Yeah.
there wasn't enough.
I guess they're just saying you should know the Turtles' origin stories.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Well, it's not even about the origin stories. It's just
you're
about
talking about like just like lazy writing, like missed opportunities.
It's not even about so much the origin stories. It's just about fleshing out the
Developing
characters more.
Yeah.
You know, and
Well, maybe they plan to
giving
do that
Shredder
in the
a
sequel.
reason. That's why I'm saying. That's why I'm building up.
Yeah, yeah.
So we got the sequel coming. It's supposed to come out next year, next summer. They're filming it right now. And we already know we got Bebop and Rocksteady. Rocksteady is being played by Seamus, and Bebop is playing by. He was the scientist brother in Undercover Brother. Have you ever seen that movie?
Oh yeah.
He was the scientist guy, the fat black guy.
Yeah.
So he's playing the Warthog.
Okay.
And Seamus from WWE is playing the Rhino.
Man, now I want to watch Undercover Brother.
Yeah. And then people were complaining like, why are Bebop and Rocksteady humans? Like, first of all, in the cartoons they were humans before they were mutated.
Yep.
Second of all, in the comics, the most recent run of comics, because they weren't in the originals, same thing. They were humans before they were mutated. So most likely at some point in the movie they're going to get mutated. Probably towards the end of the second act, I would imagine. Middle of the second act, probably.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Because, I mean, I'm pretty sure I saw a picture of them live action, like as the animals.
I don't think so. I know the picture of them dressed up in their punk gear is out. Their concept art has been released of what they're going to look like as animals.
I'm gonna look to see if I can find it. But...
So, and then on top of that, we know that the guy that plays Green Arrow from Arrow on the CW is playing Casey Jones. So that's another cool addition.
Is he good? I mean, I haven't watched
He's pretty
any
good.
of these CW
I think
shows.
he can pull it off. Basically, it seems to me like they've used like people like me and other like fans of the Ninja Turtles as a focus group.
Yeah. Wait. Didn't he look like Shrek right there for
a little
a
bit.
second? Okay.
Yeah. And basically for this second movie, they're just gonna fucking like, all right, you want us to explain Shredder? Fine, we're gonna do that. You want us to have Bebop and Rocksteady? We're gonna do that. You want us to have Casey Jones? We're gonna do that. But I just hope they don't do too much fan service, because sometimes that can be a bad thing. Like I said, the original cartoon show is a piece of shit.
You mean like...
Do not draw too much inspiration from that.
Dead Alive Beach Volleyball? Like how that game is literally nothing but fan service?
Exactly.
And it's caused
Sometimes
like
it's not that
ire,
good.
like, see, Gamergate's real.
Yeah.
All they want is big-chested women in skimpy clothing beating the shit out of each other or playing volleyball.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, fan service is not always a good thing because people, I mean, yeah, they can say what they want, but like I said, all right, look, when I was a kid, I loved the Ninja Turtles cartoon show.
Yeah.
But to be honest about it, it was kind of not good. When you look back on it now, the stories were barely there. It was basically the original run, the first season, I think was 7 or 8 episodes, was done specifically to sell the toys. Because they made toys of these comic book characters that were like super violent and not kid friendly, and they were like, we can't sell these action figures based on this comic. We need a cartoon. So they went to Fred Wolf, I think is the guy's name, that made all those cartoons back in the day.
Yeah.
And they put together a short mini-series that they could show, a one-time thing that they could show on Fox, or I think it might have been CBS, whichever one it was. And then they release the toys the next day and sell a bunch of toys. It's like a big cash grab. And then they take their money and run and keep doing comics and shit.
Yeah.
But basically the miniseries aired and like got on crazy ratings that they didn't expect to get. and they were like, well, we need to just do this on a regular basis now. So they started making the show into seasons. You know, they got a
Right.
second season. So the first season is really really short because it was only intended to be one season.
Yeah.
You know, and the stories don't even go together. Each episode's its own standalone thing.
Let's get some avocado and
Avocado,
onion pizza.
anchovy, marshmallow pizza.
Yeah, man.
You know, yeah, I bet a lot of fucking pizza places got some weird requests from kid prank callers back in the day.
Oh yeah.
When you think about it,
I mean,
some
why
kid.
would you ruin a pizza like that?
I mean, again, like I can deal with anchovies, you know, as long as there's some other stuff on it too to mask the flavor a little bit. But yeah, not marshmallows and peanut butter.
Yeah.
Although I have tried peanut butter on a pizza before, and it wasn't terrible. I'll be honest, it wasn't terrible. Just to, you know, be perfectly honest, it was all right. So yeah, I think the second one's probably going to be better than the first one. I hope it is. Again, if they stick to the current run of the comic books as inspiration, if they do too much fan service and go with the cartoon show from back in the day, I think it's going to be really like way more cheesy than it should be. Of course, there should be a respectable amount of cheesiness to a movie about Ninja Turtles.
Right.
You know, you should just expect that going in. You expect that going into the comics.
It's about
even.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Exactly. So it's the concept alone is just ridiculous, but it can be done well. I think they should now. Of course, Michael Bay's company would never do this, but when they originally announced that they were redoing Ninja Turtles as a movie, I thought it would be cool if they did like a Sin City type thing.
Yeah.
Like very stylized, because the old comics were in black and white and they had dashes of red here and there. You know, I thought that would be really cool because it really, the original comics lend themselves to that so well.
Yeah.
But I like what they did. It's just, I felt like there could have been 20 more minutes of, like, development. And instead of just tacking on the Shredder shit, they should have just left it the way it was. You know, and with the second movie, they could have brought the original Shredder back to life or something. Because, look, in the new comics, one thing I was going to say is the Turtles and Splinter are reincarnated. Basically, Shredder was feuding with Splinter Hamato Yoshi back in the day in Japan, and he ends up killing him and his whole family. And so basically, fast forward to now, they are reincarnated as his sons are reincarnated as the Turtles. He's reincarnated as the Rat. They get mutated and they grow bigger, and eventually their memories of that old life start coming back to them, and they realize that's why they have to take out the Shredder, because it's revenge and all that shit.
All right.
So I think they could really incorporate that and make the movie 10 times better.
Let me clear this up a little bit.
Okay.
What I saw a picture of is actually from a fan film called Ninja Turtles Blood Brothers, which is just about Bebop and Rocksteady.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the image that I saw. Yeah. So sorry for the confusion.
Okay. So let's see what's next on the thing here. Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice. This is the Comic-Con, or this is the short trailer, I think, the first one that was released. Maybe. I don't know, this might be the Comic-Con.
I mean, this was prophesized back in I Am Legend.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see here. Is this the this
is the one before Comic-Con.
Yeah, this is the first one.
Yeah.
It really didn't tell you a whole lot.
No, it just teased you a little bit.
Just a little bit of voiceover, some reaction shots and whatnot. I like what they're doing with it. Of course, I've never been against the whole Ben Affleck as Batman thing. I think people took that kind of overboard.
Well, a funny thing is that apparently Ben Affleck told Snyder that he was like, I don't want to do this. I don't think I'm right for the role. And Snyder told him, no, it's okay. He's supposed to be old in this film.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if that's what Affleck was going with, but apparently it worked.
And apparently, recently we found out that there was a screening of what they have so far, which is pretty much 98% complete, I think.
Yeah.
For the people at Warner Brothers, like all the executives and shit, and they loved it. Like pretty much all the core employees at Warner Brothers got to watch it, and supposedly they thought it was awesome.
Assholes.
So again, they are executives, and what the fuck do executives know about movies? You know, because often they fuck movies up.
Yeah, I mean,
but I think they can tell whenever a movie is gonna be good.
I mean,
at
what
least
what
like
they're
this.
doing, what I think's really cool about this plot is it's kind of similar to, which it probably was a comic book storyline before, but the Injustice Gods Among Us, the video game, the
Well, I
fighting
mean,
game.
it's drawn
Yeah.
from The Dark Knight Returns.
Okay, all right. So yeah,
Frank
I'm sure,
Miller's
like,
comic.
but like, you know, I think that's so cool that they're talking about, you know, Superman being a false god, because basically in the DC universe, Superman more or less is a god,
Yeah,
especially among men.
yeah.
You know, so I mean, I think that's pretty cool because that's how people would in society react to something like that. Like maybe someone like a Batman, someone that they know is a regular guy
Yeah.
who's just, you know, trained super well. They'd probably be a little iffy about him, but I'd say a lot of people would be more like, no, I'm all for him cleaning up the streets.
Yeah.
But a dude literally flying around through the air, shooting lasers out of his eyes and blowing the coldest winter wind you've ever felt from his lungs. You know, people are probably going to be like, no, this guy scares the shit out of me. You know? I mean, he blew up, what, half of Metropolis in that fight?
Well, not necessarily him. I thought I had the other one. Hold on. But yeah, not necessarily. I mean, like, all right, look, here's my thing. Like, a lot of people complain about all the destruction and shit in that movie. Like, Superman would never allow that to happen. But my thing is, like, when I watched it, that didn't even bother me because it's clear that it's fucking Zod.
Yeah.
Like he was not gonna allow that fight to happen anywhere else but where it happened. And like the destruction, he made his motives clear. He's gonna destroy this fucking planet.
Yeah.
You know, and rebuild it as Krypton. So again, like, it makes perfect sense that would happen. I mean, Superman is trying to keep him from destroying all these buildings, but it's one god against another. Shit's gonna get fucked up.
And you've also got to think about it like this, you know, that's really the first movie in the Superman universe that we have now.
And that was another thing too that I knew
He's
exactly
learning himself.
After I saw it the first time in theaters. I was like, man, I guarantee that in the sequel they're going to address all this destruction.
Yeah.
They would have no choice but to.
And I mean, you know, Superman killed Zod.
Yeah.
And Superman...
He had no choice.
Yeah, but Superman doesn't kill people.
But here's the thing, he's new.
He's
new at being Superman.
Exactly, that's my whole point.
He hasn't determined his morals yet. Yeah, he doesn't want to kill. Obviously, he tried not to.
Yeah.
Like, he took a while before he finally decided on that. And you could tell
that really hurt him, too, after he killed Zod. You know, it hurt him.
It was not something that he wanted to do.
I mean, I remember people being pissed off about that, and I was like, well, first of all, shout out to Michael Shannon. What a great performance he gave as Zod.
Yeah.
He's a native of Kentucky.
Yep.
And I mean, I really liked that movie. I liked it a hell of a lot more than Superman fucking Returns.
Yeah.
Superman Returns was the longest, most drawn-out 2.5 hour fucking talk fest of a superhero movie I've ever seen.
You know what? I didn't hate Superman Returns like most people did. I thought it, you know, obviously it was boring. I'm not going to argue that at all. It was definitely fucking boring. What the hell? Oh, there it is. But at the same time, it had some good ideas. It's just like, the problem with it was, like, why isn't fucking Superman fighting anybody?
Yeah.
He didn't really get in any fights at all.
I mean, I understand that it was supposed to be
a reboot. He punched an island.
It was supposed to be a reboot / sequel of the old Chris Reeves, Gene Hackman Supermans. And I mean, look, my opinion is based on literally one viewing of this movie. So maybe if I watched it again, I wouldn't hate it as much. But I mean, I really didn't want to. I don't want to watch it again. So, I mean, if you don't get me to want to watch you at least a second time to see if I missed something, then I'm not gonna watch it again.
Exactly. All right, so here we go. Because I want to talk about some stuff in this trailer.
Oh, and also kudos to Warner Brothers, because I mean, even though it leaked and you didn't want it to, the fact that you released it in high definition,
Yeah, that's a good move.
That's really cool of you also.
I really love
Kudos.
this shot here of him coming down.
Yeah. Aliens are legal. I mean, they're putting it in our universe,
Yeah.
except
I mean, if you think people wouldn't react this way, then you're fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I really like this, the way that they're moving with this movie and the DC universe.
Yeah.
I like it.
So,
like Westboro Baptist type shit.
Yeah.
God hates aliens.
But, yeah, I just, like, the whole destruction thing, like, I really feel like the Man of Steel movie is Superman learning how to be Superman.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't want to kill. Like his parents instilled some good values in him, so he doesn't want to kill because of that. But he's struggling with this fact. Like, how do I let this person live that is basically trying to destroy my fucking planet?
I mean,
the planet that has adopted me.
Wasn't that why Smallville was such a major success? Because it was Superman learning to become Superman.
Exactly. But people just like. Again, it's just nitpicking, you know.
Yeah.
People want a reason to complain about something.
I want to point this out to anyone who's like a really anal retentive about details. The costume designer says that there are slight changes to his suit in this from Man of Steel, but he says that he doubts anyone who wasn't involved in creating the suit will be able to spot them.
Yeah, I mean, they probably just did like aesthetic stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you can see any differences, like either now or once the movie comes out, point them out. I want to know.
So he's in the Supreme Court. There's Bruce Wayne.
Batman.
And that's really cool. Like the whole laser
tying
vision.
it in.
Yeah, they did it perfectly.
Yeah, like you pointed that out to me. That this is from the Superman versus Zod battle.
Exactly, and it's crazy. Like that they because I mean, originally, like I said, I was like, man, they're seriously gonna have to address this stuff in the sequel, because what better plot point do you have for some politician like Lex Luthor to be against Superman than him destroying a whole city with a fucking other alien?
Yeah.
They could easily. Because a lot of the story in the comics and in the old Justice League and Superman cartoons is that Lex Luthor continuously blames like shit that villains do on Superman.
Right.
Like if a villain destroys a city in a battle with Superman, he's like, "Oh, see, Superman was in cahoots. You know, they destroyed it together, and that's why we need to fucking do this and this."
Jesse Eisenberg's Luthor, isn't he?
Yeah.
That's a weird choice.
I thought so at first, but now that I've seen the footage, like, I think it's going to work out, because again, this is a very for Superman's story in this, and for everybody related to Superman, it's kind of the beginning of their story.
Yeah.
Batman is coming in at the end of his story. So apparently in Batman v Superman, he's been doing his thing for a while. He's either retired or almost retired, like maybe only does really big jobs.
Yeah, that's what I kind of took from it, that he kind of had to struggle with whether or not he was going to don the cape.
Exactly. So Lex Luthor being young and kind of an up-and-comer like Facebook type of guy, like a new media entrepreneur type thing, makes sense. You know, I'm cool with it. So he's running to a lot of people compared this to 9/11.
Yep.
Like, come on, people. Can we just have a movie be a movie?
They probably based the effect off of it after being able to see something like that.
That's a really cool shot right there.
Yep.
You know, you get up and you see the Wayne tower thing there.
Yep.
Kind of just right in the middle of the rubble. I mean, I wonder what significance that little girl has. Like, does he know her, or is she just a random little girl that he's saving?
Right.
You know.
Zack Snyder.
I don't get all the Zack Snyder hate either. Now,
me either. I like
here's
him.
another thing people talk about is they're saying that this is Wayne Manor. I don't know. It's all it's all burnt down and shit, so it's possible.
If it was, it could fit in with the Nightfall protocol.
Yeah.
Right.
But the thing about it is like, I feel like all this shit wouldn't be grown up around it. I mean, even if it's been abandoned for a while, you'd still be able to see like a driveway and like some other shit. Like, it just wouldn't be a field leading all the way up to it. Maybe it's just the camera angle. I don't know, but it probably is Wayne Manor. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see when we get more information about the movie. Here's the Bat Cave, which is awesome. Like, it's really cool. Like, because every time, like, even in the Nolan Batman movies, it was a very primitive take on the Batcave. You know, it was very
Yeah.
cavey.
Yeah.
You know, this is very modern. He's actually built like
An underground
shit.
bunker.
Which this is, you know, if Wayne Manor is burnt down, that's probably why it's so modern looking. He had to build it in a different location, probably.
Right. I mean, he's even got that
You
little
let your
touch of
family
gray.
die. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. You know, maybe because that looks like the destruction in Metropolis. So maybe your family is
I mean, I'd say if anything,
the people that work for him.
That's a taunt from probably. I mean, the Joker has been like making the runs that.
Well, here's my
he's
theory.
Taunting Batman.
I think maybe the Joker, but maybe Lex Luthor, trying to get him riled up to become Batman again.
Yeah.
So like Suicide Squad, we're gonna see the Joker, fucking around and being a pest to Batman, and I think in this movie, we're gonna see the Joker will probably be in it a little bit. But I think mainly what's going to end up being the twist is that Lex Luthor has been acting as the Joker to get Batman to take out Superman. To get him to at least put the suit on again.
Okay. And
to entice him to get him even more mad than he already is.
And the reason I went
or maybe
to
he's
the
working
Joker,
with Joker.
Yeah, and the reason I went to the Joker is because of what we're going to see in a few moments.
So some CrossFit.
Got to stay in shape.
Yeah. Alfred seems really cool. Now, if nobody's ever read it out there, there's a current, it's a couple years old. The newest edition just came out. It's a single-shot graphic novel called Batman Earth 1. Volume 2 just came out last month or a month before last. Volume 1 and Volume 2, both of them are really good. It's a different take on the Batman origin. And it's by Jeff Johns and somebody else. I forget who the other guy is. But basically, in it, Alfred is an ex-military guy, an what do they call it? It's like England's
veteran.
Well, it's England's
SAS
and MI6.
MI6.
It's like their
James
version
Bond.
of the SEALs or something.
Oh yeah, that's SAS.
Or no, well he was MI6, so it's like a
spy, like
spy
FBI
type of thing.
thing.
So he was a badass basically. So the story is that he's the one that trained Bruce Wayne in that Earth 1 universe, and I'm thinking that's maybe what they're going with. In this universe, but he seems a little young.
Yeah.
You know, if Batman's supposed to be near retirement, he doesn't look much older than Batman.
Yep.
Which would make sense, though, because basically in the Earth 1 story, he's just a friend of Bruce Wayne's father.
All right.
Like they served in the military together or whatever. They just happen to know each other from back then. And he shows up one day, pretty much the day before his parents get killed. And just to have like a little reunion with his parents, with his father. And then, of course, father gets killed, and Alfred's there, and, you know, of course, he's the only one Bruce Wayne has left, even though Bruce really doesn't know the guy.
Right.
And, like, they want to put him in foster care, you know, because he's like 10 years old or something. And they're like, "Are you the boy's guardian?" He's like, "Fuck, I'm the butler." Like he just kind of says it like really disappointed. Like I'm gonna have to come up with something so that I can take legal guardianship of this kid because his father would have it no other way.
Right.
You know, you don't want this fucking billionaire kid to go into foster care.
Yeah.
So he takes on the job of his guardian and just says he's the butler, but he's not really the butler. So he's just a badass that ends up training Batman, pretty much. And I love that take on Alfred.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
So it would make sense that he wouldn't be too much older. You know. That right there where he says nobody wants to see Clark Kent taking on the Batman or whatever.
Yeah.
I think, because I don't remember, but does Perry White know that he's Superman? Or is Lois Lane the only one?
I think Lois is the only one.
So that's what I'm thinking there. I think Clark Kent is like, hey, I want to do a story about the Batman. Yeah. And so he can get closer to him, and he's like, fuck that, you're going to cover Superman.
Yeah.
You know, and that's probably what his main job has been, is covering Superman. So I think that's what that's all about, and people have read into that a lot. I think because, like, trailers, a lot of times people put shit in there just to fuck with people.
Yeah.
Out of context type stuff. So... And you got his mom, or no, Lois Lane, talking to him and these people. Does he save these people or what?
It looks like he's saving them,
But
or
he's
he's
kinda just-
casting his judgment down.
He's
going,
he's kind of just
"Ye of
hovering
little
up there.
faith."
You know, there's his mom talking to him about shit, saving somebody, and people worshiping him.
And I mean, he saves people there.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know.
He seems to be struggling with that though.
Yeah. I mean, well, I mean, he's pretty.
He's still getting his muscle tone up.
Well, I mean, the thing about it is that's always been about Superman is he's super strong, but he's not this like super duper duper strong. Like there is shit that's heavy to him.
Yeah.
You know, and that's another thing. Like they're saying the most recent. Have you heard about the most recent shit about Zod?
No.
They're saying about this movie. They're saying that Luthor has some means because of some shit that fell from space or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe some shit that was on their ship or that was on the terraforming machine they were using that was able to resurrect Zod, but when it did, it turned him into Doomsday. So they're talking about Doomsday being in this movie.
That would
And
be
the Zod's
fucking
gonna be
sick.
yeah, the Zod's gonna be Doomsday.
But it would only be the best possible way for them to do it if he kills Superman.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how it's. And apparently, what people are saying is that in the Wonder Woman scene,
That's why, yeah.
But again,
Joke's on you, Batman.
could that not be Lex Luthor fucking with him? You
It
know?
could be, yeah, you're right.
So there's Wonder Woman.
She can do it.
So basically, let's see, where's it at? There's
So
the
now,
big
hold
bat
on. Now, I've
signal.
also heard this theory that Wonder Woman isn't just this ancient line of Greek or Amazon
that she was
warriors.
descended from Kryptonians that came to Earth back in the day.
That's a little weird.
I don't
I'm
know
not
if they're
sure
going to go
I
with
like
that or
that.
not. It would make more sense to go with that in this universe because the whole Amazonian thing.
Mhm.
Like, how are we going to have this island full of Amazonian women and not know about it? You know?
Because of magic, which is very
that's
prevalent.
true.
It's
Yeah.
very prevalent in DC.
That's true. They
And
are trying to
magic
keep it
is-
more realistic, though.
Magic is Superman's weakness.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if they're trying to keep it more realistic, Batman shouldn't be able to move in that suit of armor. Because that thing's
Well, yeah,
fucking
obviously.
heavy.
Obviously, yeah, but, I mean, it's a robotic
I get what
suit,
you're saying.
though.
It's less realistic than Nolan's
It's a
take.
mech suit. It's a robotic suit.
Yeah, but it's
Still.
less realistic than Nolan's take.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So there's the bat signal.
I don't really like the tiny little bat ears, but I mean, again,
That's,
this
that's
is
from
just
the Frank Miller Batman.
yeah, this is just nitpicking though.
Again, that's Frank Miller's design on
Yeah.
the bat symbol. So that's why they use that. What do we see next?
Bat armor.
Do you bleed or whatever the fuck he
Yeah.
says? Oh, that
Do
right
you
there.
bleed?
Some people
I'll make you bleed.
Some people are saying that's a nod to Aquaman. Like maybe that'll have
Aquaman
something.
is in the movie.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be one of those things where he just kind of shows up at the end, like, "What's up, guys?"
Have you
know?
have you watched Batman: The Bold and the Brave?
Oh yeah, I love that.
That
show.
is my favorite Aquaman interpretation of
funny.
all time. Just did
like
I
a-
tell you the time about when I saved Atlantis from an underground squid?
Yeah, we got it. But yeah, I don't know. Part of me also wants to think that maybe this is some kind of thing that fell from the terraformer, but I don't know.
I
You
mean,
can't really tell.
you can't. It kind of looks like hair at the top,
Yeah.
a little bit,
I don't
just
know.
because it's more shiny,
Yeah,
and it does kind of look like it's got tone to it. Like you can
Yeah.
tell there's like lines in it,
exactly.
but it's just
That
there
could
to
be
get us
kryptonite,
excited.
maybe.
It could be a blue turd from a space plane.
Yeah. Okay, so there's some horseback riding. There's again, I don't know why we need another Batman origin story, so I hope it fits with the plot well.
Conspiracy theory / paranormal theory: Bruce Wayne is a black-eyed child. Look
He's
at
a
that.
demon.
That is the devil.
Yep.
Wait, but didn't that look like the guy who was playing his dad? It looked like the guy that played the comedian.
He is.
It
He's
is?
the same
Okay.
guy that played Dean and Sam's dad on Supernatural.
Yep.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. I love that guy.
Yeah, he's a good actor. Okay, so here the
Wonder
theory
Woman.
is that she is fighting Doomsday here. That I guess at some point Batman and Superman are fighting, and then Doomsday joins the fight, and then that's when she interferes. Apparently.
Is it sexist of me to say she looked better in the dress than she does in the armor?
I mean, no, I think she looks good in the armor.
But I mean, I think she looked better in that dress.
I think she looks pretty sexy. I mean, but yeah, she looked good in the dress too.
I don't want anyone to kick my ass.
Now, this stuff here, people have been really confused, and I haven't seen anybody bring it up yet, but maybe I've just missed it. But in The Dark Knight Returns, there's this whole fucking conflict in this imaginary version of Puerto Rico called Corto Maltese. It's this whole fucking war that's going on,
All right.
and it's like it's kind of like Cuba or Puerto Rico, like not necessarily a desert, but it's like an island place where there's like a Cold War type of situation going on.
Uh-huh.
Which Superman is very involved in with the army. Like he's pretty much leading the army down there. He's like the general.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is that. That's why I think those people were bowing to him, like those soldiers and shit were bowing to him. I think they might be bringing in Corto Maltese to this universe.
Because, I mean, Batman
could be
totally
wrong.
looks like he's a Mad Max character right
Yeah. So I don't know why, because in the comics Batman doesn't go there. But
well, me
I
just
don't know
looking
why.
at it without knowing that, me just looking at this, it either seems like something really bad just recently happened,
Yeah.
or he is surveying an area of great destruction. And like, if I was going to infer something, maybe in Arkham, maybe Arkham Asylum got knocked out in some kind of fight.
And another thing is too, this way he's dressed here is very, very reminiscent of the Red Sun universe of Superman, which is in Russia.
Yeah, that's the best one.
And the Batman he wears a trench coat over top of his bat suit, just like this guy is, and things like that. So I don't know, maybe that could be something they're drawing from here. Maybe not necessarily in Russia, but maybe it's some kind of point in the movie where something like this happens.
I mean, that's either the possible Wayne Manor we've already seen,
Yeah.
or I mean, it even looks like it could be like the White House almost, doesn't it?
A little bit, yeah.
I mean, this is definitely some kind of post-bad shit going on landscape.
Yeah. So you have soldiers with Superman logos on them. And that's why I'm saying I think he's some kind of general of an army.
And they're beating the shit out of Batman.
Going on. Yeah, let's see here.
Yeah, let's do that again.
So there's
there's Superman logo plain as day.
And there he is fighting with them.
And he's definitely got a trench coat.
But it's definitely in a desert. You know, like that's why it's confusing me.
And
like I don't think that like
he's not even wearing like Batman batsuit pants.
Yeah.
He's wearing like cargo jeans.
Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking maybe if they did bring the Corto Maltese thing into it, maybe Superman's down there focusing mainly on that, and he's like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go get him."
Yeah.
And he goes there. And he decides to dress this way because it's the fucking desert and he needs to dress this way for some reason. So maybe that could be it.
You know, I don't think I even realized this last part because of how quick it goes in the actual trailer.
Yeah, it goes by pretty quick.
Yeah. So, I mean, good eye on your part.
Yeah. So, Batmobile, I just missed it.
So, yeah. So, I mean, he's in a completely different suit there.
Yeah. LexCorp. There's the kryptonite.
Yeah, he definitely has kryptonite. And look, he's totally, like, doing a Gollum right there.
My precious.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he's. This is probably somewhere around the end of the second act or the beginning of the third act when he's realized that this shit can hurt Superman, and he's about to use it for something.
Did they kind of... I seem to remember them kind of saying that kryptonite was radioactive.
Yeah.
In Man of Steel. So maybe that's why...
Well, they didn't bring it up in Man of Steel.
Well, maybe that's why Lex loses his hair.
Could be. Or it could be a wig, because he had an affinity for wigs.
Obviously, it's because he was filming that other movie that just came out recently.
Yeah. See, they mixed that stuff together there.
Yeah.
To make it look like she's there at that time, but she's
Batman
not.
versus Superman.
See, there she crashes into this thing.
Yeah.
And that's people are saying she's fighting Doomsday here.
Well, you know, if we're going based off comic book lore, she wouldn't stand a chance.
Well, I mean, obviously. This is a really cool shot.
Yeah, I like that they're pulling it back to more of a Batman using a lot of utilities.
Yeah.
Because that's been the thing. He's a great detective and he's able to kick people's asses, but in order to keep up with a superhero level status, he's had to use gadgets.
Yep.
So, and more than just a batarang.
Yeah.
Which is always what they do in the movies. They're always like, look, he's going to throw a batarang.
So yeah, I think Lex has figured out some way, due to the technology that was left by Zod's people, the terraforming machine and the spaceship and whatever they had on board, to bring Zod back to life and turn him into Doomsday, basically.
If you had to guess, because this is probably their first or second encounter between each other, Batman and Superman.
Yeah.
If you had to guess, where in the movie do you think that this would fall, their fight?
Their fight, I think pretty early on, probably midway through
first
the
act?
second. No,
No.
midway through the second act.
Okay.
They'll probably build up to it. Well, of course they're gonna build up to it, but it's gonna be like it's gonna look like they're gonna be mortal enemies through the whole movie. Then I think, like I said, I think Doomsday comes into play.
A bigger evil comes, and they both realize that they're trying to fight the same thing.
Exactly.
So
I don't know how Wonder Woman factors into it. I don't know how she gets into the picture.
Right.
I haven't figured that out yet. I
Or
assume it's
Aquaman.
gonna be I assume that maybe she just kind of relocates to Metropolis or something.
Yeah.
And she's like, I need to stop these two guys. They're gonna kill everybody and themselves. You know.
Well, I mean,
so maybe
technically
that's why she gets involved.
Well, her people wouldn't care about it.
Well, but she got exiled from her people in a lot of situations,
Okay.
some situations. So it depends on what kind of story.
So
they go
you
for.
think that this would happen, like, let's say the run time's 2 hours. You're saying...
Oh, it's gonna be longer than that.
2.5?
I guarantee it'll be at least 2.5.
All right, so let's say it's 2.5. So you're
I'd say
saying
the
that
fight
this
will
is going
probably
to come in
happen
about an hour and a half in.
About an hour in, I think the fight's gonna get started. And like I said, I think probably they're probably gonna have some false starts. I think Batman is probably gonna get his ass kicked at first, and
Yeah, and
that's probably
why
when
he
he
got
goes
the
back
metal
and gets
suit.
the metal suit. I think. Or maybe he just gets that from the top. I don't know. But I think there's going to be a situation where he has a face-off with him.
Right.
Like maybe in that desert scene.
Yeah, because I'm
And that's when he's
thinking-
like, hold up, I can't stand up to this guy. I need to go back and figure some shit out. So he manages to escape.
Yeah, because I'm kind of thinking
somehow.
that that's their second fight.
Yeah, probably.
Like,
and that's when Doomsday is probably released by Luthor. He's probably like, all right, here, this guy will take care of him,
And this is all hearsay.
Yeah, this is all just speculation and rumors. Really,
Doomsday
there's
may
not
not be
nearly
there.
as much known about this as there is Star Wars. That's obvious.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
You're welcome, Internet. I dig.
yeah. So, yeah, and I've done some digging on this, and there's really not much more than just speculation out there, which is crazy considering a bunch of people have seen the movie, or what's done of it so far.
Well, I mean,
and all we know is that they liked it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a good sign, yeah.
Yeah. But again, who knows with executives? They could just be trying to hype the movie up.
Which, I mean, if that's true, Bob Iger of Disney came out a couple months ago and was all like, don't be surprised if Star Wars doesn't take in a whole bunch of money, blah, blah.
Well, I mean, it's Star Wars. It's going to regardless.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it kind of seems like he was trying to talk it down a little bit. And it's like, that's not really the best PR move unless you're trying to, trick people into seeing it or something. But I don't think you have to trick people into seeing a Star Wars movie.
Now, this here, obviously, takes place in Gotham City, this encounter.
Yep, Gotham
And he's
City
not
gas.
in the armor.
Nope.
So, I don't know. I don't know where this falls in the movie. This could be their first encounter.
Yeah, could
You
be.
know, maybe.
And he just rips the door off the Batmobile and says, "Get the fuck out."
Well, maybe. Again, this is just speculation. I'm just coming up with this on the spot. Maybe this is Batman looking into something the Joker has supposedly done, and Superman showing up there at the same place, and them having a little altercation.
Yeah.
Could be. Because I really think Luthor is going to be the type to play them against each other. I think that's what he's doing. Like, he's got them both trusting him, and he's feeding them both bullshit so they'll try to fight each other.
Yeah.
And take each other out, because he realizes as long as Superman and Batman are in the world, he's not going to be able to get away with shit. So he has to get rid of them.
I really want to see them introduce two characters throughout one of these Justice League movies. I want to see them introduce Solomon Grundy and Brainiac.
I think they'll go with Brainiac in Justice League because that's kind of like the next logical step after Luthor. That's a character that the Justice League as a whole deals with on a much regular basis.
But Solomon Grundy would just be so cool.
It would be pretty cool.
Solomon Grundy, born on a Monday.
Yeah. So let's see. Let's finish this off here.
I think you did.
Yeah, I was just gonna let it finish playing. So yeah, that's that. We're over an hour in. Oh, well, since we've talked about Batman and Ninja Turtles, we might as well talk about the fact that there's a Batman Ninja Turtles crossover run coming.
Oh yeah.
I don't really know anything about the details. It's supposed to start, I think, in January, maybe either December or January. It's supposed to start. Now, the current run of the Ninja Turtles comic books is ending at 50. And then I guess they're going to either reboot it or something. I don't know what they're doing, but the issue 50 comes out this month. So I don't know what they're going to do with it, but the story's been awesome so far, so I'm sure they got some... Because they're not going to let Ninja Turtles die.
No.
Like, that shit's going to keep going. It makes them it makes IDW Publishing too much money.
Yeah, I mean...
Plus with a new movie coming out.
Marvel canceled Fantastic Four because of Fox.
Well, because
but that's not going to happen to the Turtles. You know, there's no like rights of who.
But
gets
I'm
to make
excited
a film.
because IDW, the people that do the Turtles comics, have done some good crossovers recently. Like, they own the Ghostbusters comic book property, so they did a Ninja Turtles Ghostbusters comic, which was awesome.
Yeah.
You know, and they did an X-Files crossover with X-Files and Ninja Turtles and Ghostbusters and all kinds of shit.
Did fucking Mulder go like, oh my god. Oh my god.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
There are talking turtles the size of humans who love pizza. Oh my god. Scully, contact Deep Throat. This is serious.
Deep Throat.
That was his name.
Yeah,
that was his name from the little guy from like seasons like 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Like, I'm Deep Throat Mulder. I know the shit you want to know.
I don't know what the plot points are going to be. I know that the way they made it work with the other crossovers is that in the comics they have built a interdimensional transporter so that they're able to go to other dimensions.
Like
so
Stewie
chances
Griffin.
are that they're going to end up in Gotham City or Batman's going to end up in New York.
Family Guy did it.
Yeah.
Stewie Griffin style.
Exactly.
Well, I want to tell a quick little story though.
Do it.
I told you it. So by the time that this episode goes up, I'm sure Force Friday will have already happened. But
yes.
I've been checking my local Walmart store shelves religiously for the new Star Wars toys, and I sent him a picture. So like today I was up in there and I actually found one. That picture right there. I found more than one, but I was gonna buy that. That's Kylo Ren. I love the dark side of shit, and he's not technically a Sith or whatever, but he's obviously not good. So I went to go ring it up, and they're like, "Oh, this is on recall." They wouldn't sell it to me because it's not technically in the system yet. So I got upset that they even had it out, because I mean, I'm not gonna steal from them, but goddamn, I would have given them $30 for that.
You know what you should have done? Like, of course, you would have had to have known this was going to happen beforehand.
Yeah.
But you should have gone through the self-checkout with it and, like, rang up something of equal fucking value and paid for that and just bagged that.
Yeah.
And just took it. Because they hardly ever check that shit.
I doubt.
Especially for something like that, they wouldn't check it.
If it's not in the system, I doubt it would even set off the security gate.
Probably not.
Well, guys, I'm going to Walmart in a couple minutes.
It's just an action figure.
Yeah.
It probably doesn't have a security thing in it.
Probably not. So I guess I'm going to go to
so just
back
ring
to
up
Walmart.
Ring up the other item. Now, of course, I'm not endorsing this, people. If you Walmart, don't come after me. I'm just saying, if a guy wanted to do this, you could pick out another $30, $29.99.
I mean, there wasn't even a tag on it, so I couldn't tell you. I'd say that thing's probably going to be $18, $20.
It's probably like $18 or $19.99.
Yeah, that's what I'm
thinking. So pick out something that's about that much, ring it up, and then like stash it. But when it says put the item on the fucking thing, because it'll know whether
drop
or not
it in.
Yeah, just put that on there and bag that up and take it, because they're most likely not going to check. And if they do check, they're probably just going to check that you only have one item on your list, because I don't think they actually read the shit. And especially if you go in the middle of the night, they're not going to check.
Well, all I know is that my heart, like, it started, pumping with joy. And
so basically she was like, I can't sell this to you.
Yeah, she denied me a sale, and my heart sank, because I was going to just take that out and mount it and...
You were going to mount it?
I was going to... I've mounted a lot of things, and I know that plastic has holes in it from the molding process somewhere. So I would have made sweet, sweet nerd love to Kylo Ren.
My problem is, though, like, I thought maybe since Disney was taking hold of this shit that they would start putting out a more quality product, but I've never been a huge fan of the Star Wars action figures.
It's been Hasbro. I will tell you this,
like
the Black series
they just
of figures
seem so basic.
Well, the Black series, which is their kind of more deluxe
I've seen
collectible toys.
The Slave Leia and that shit looks terrible.
Yeah, okay, and the new one for Rey, her face looks horrible.
Yeah.
But they've done a lot of good stuff with them, and they've got multiple points of articulation.
Yeah.
Like the Black Series, if you want to collect toys and you want them to look pretty decent, Black Series is where you want to go. You know, if you're just, you know, if you're, fuck, you know, I'm still a kid at heart. You know, I don't care what the toy fucking looks like. I want to recreate Star Wars scenes using a little camera and toys. You know, I've always wanted to recreate Hoth. Like as a child, we tried to do it. It just turned out like shit. So you know.
What'd you try to do it with?
Like we had like the AT-AT walkers, and we had a Millennium Falcon toy, and just a bunch of little like random rebels and snow troopers and shit. And you know, we're out in the snow trying to fucking film something, but you know, we got tired of actually trying to do the work of filming something. I mean, you know, stop animation takes a long time, and we didn't even know stop animation. We were just moving things in like giant chunks, so like hands are in it. We're just like, this isn't cool, but playing in the snow is. Battle of Hoth.
Fucking awesome. Well, before we go, one last thing about Star Wars. Do you play the app game Galactic Defense? Have you ever played that?
Star Wars Commander?
No, it's Star Wars. It's like a tower defense type game.
I haven't.
Now, I've been playing this game for a few months now, and I was loving it, and they just recently did a huge update that completely ruined the fucking game.
Yeah.
I don't know if I just can't find the shit I'm looking for on it now, but, like, used to be when you would start out a level, like, all your points of building shit, towers and stuff to use as, like, guns and fucking humans that come out and fight people as they come in, and all these different towers you can build. Usually when you would start a level, the level would be completely blank.
Yeah.
But now when you start it, there's several towers already placed depending on what kind of characters and what kind of modifiers you have. And some of them will be upgraded as far as they can go right from the start, which is cool, but you don't get a chance to lay it out exactly the way you would want to.
There's no option to move it?
Yeah, there's no option to sell off the ones that are already there. And I was good at this fucking game, and then they changed it, and now like I'm getting beat on novice levels, doing every combination of shit I can because you're starting out with a limited amount of money and a limited amount of space to work with. It used to be like you would start with like 500 fucking credits, galactic credits or whatever the fuck they're called.
Yep.
And you could build to your heart's desire, and on this new one you get like 150.
It's some programming, man. It's programming.
It's stupid. And you would have these
But let me guess, you could go buy some more credits now, can't you?
No, not for individual levels. Like each level has its set amount of credits that you start off with. And
programming. It's all programming.
So yeah, and there was this feature in the old version where you could call in like reinforcements or call in like an airstrike and stuff like that, and they completely took that stuff out. It's nowhere to be found. That I can't find it anyways.
Put a 1-star review up there.
I'm about to.
They'll at least get back to you.
Like if they would at least add the reinforcements and that shit back into it, I would be fine.
Who made it? Disney Interactive, or is it a third party?
DNA. It's the same people that Nintendo does partners with. To make phone apps and shit.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah.
Definitely put up a 1-star review and tell them that you liked it until this most recent update.
So that's
and they'll at least try to address the issues with you. If
not if I'm the only one complaining, but I have a feeling more people are complaining because they completely changed the whole.
I don't know, man.
Game.
I know a lot of people hate it. Like, I know a lot of developers hate it if they get like any kind of negative feedback on there. Some of them just delete it. Other ones, like, just sit there and they're like, they'll at least write back to you.
I hope so, man, because, like, it was such a fun game until they did all that shit.
Yeah.
Now, some of the updates are cool, like, because before, like, because you only get, like certain special characters to work with and you have to build up to them. Like, I'm the dark side, I have Darth Vader and... I forget the other guy.
Wait, is that illegal? Because I just
it wasn't. If you sing the whole song, it would be, but just that little bit's cool. It's Darth Vader and somebody else, and the only one I have on the light side is Leia. But basically, in the old version, you would have to buy a card pack and hope that there was a fucking cool guy in it, you know?
Yeah.
And in the new version, you just have to collect scraps and shit to build up to the badges and unlock them. But it takes forever, so that's a gripe.
So they've essentially made it just like harder, more time consuming to get to where you already were.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Galactic
adding
Defense
playtime
is a piece of shit now.
Yeah, adding playtime in the ways of the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Yeah.
You can't save, and it's hard as fuck. Good luck, kid.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I guess that's about it for this spontaneous geek out edition of Chronic Confusion.
Felt good.
Yeah, get some stuff off the chest, run down some geek movie news, and pay tribute to some fallen legends.
Yeah.
And
Not gonna
you know.
lie, after hearing you point out some things in that trailer, I'm actually looking I was already looking forward to it, but I'm more excited now for Batman versus
Well,
Superman.
I mean, basically, if you've never read Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns, it's worth a read, and it will give you a lot of perspective on what. Now, it's not a direct adaptation of that. He said that,
Right.
but they drew a lot of inspiration from it, and that's why I'm like, when I see the desert area and stuff like that, I'm like, that just reminds me so much of Cortel Maltese and what was going on in the comic book at the time. So maybe it's something, maybe it's nothing, but if you read that book, you'll have a pretty good idea. And that's another thing people are always talking about. Oh, Superman would kill Batman. He would stomp the shit out of him. We're like, well, I mean, not really, because Batman kicks his ass
Yep.
in The Dark Knight Returns, and several other occasions he has. Because look,
I'll put it
Superman
this way.
is vulnerable to kryptonite and magic. Like,
Yep.
those are the two things that can hurt him, and those are two things that are very, very abundant in the DC universe.
One of the most commonly accepted things about Batman is that he's got a contingency plan for pretty
Everything.
much anyone that he's ever met and
Yeah.
every possible outcome.
Exactly.
He knows how to kill, at least in the comics and the animated series, he knows how to deal with any superhero or villain that might decide to run some shit amok.
And that's not to say, yeah, okay, if it was just a random meeting and he didn't have time to prepare, yeah, Superman would probably take him down. But at the same time, Batman's always prepared.
If Batman knew he was going up for him, you're talking about
Yeah.
fucking a fucking kryptonite infused batarang
Yeah.
that's been enchanted with some kind of magic just to up it a little bit.
But yeah, so, and even better than, well, maybe not better than reading The Dark Knight Returns is they did an animated adaptation of it a couple years ago, which is phenomenal.
I'll check that out when I get home.
It's I've got it here. I'll let you borrow it. Anybody that's not seen that, if you want a really good Batman movie, it's my favorite Batman movie of all time,
Oh,
and it's
yeah?
an animated DC feature.
Yeah.
So, well, I mean, it's two movies, but you can,
Wait.
the deluxe edition has them both melded into one movie.
It's not the one that had it's not the one with Red Hood, is it?
No, that's Under the Red Hood. But it's The Dark Knight Returns Part 1 and 2. You can buy them. They released them separately, but you can buy the DVD or the Blu-ray now that has them both infused into one movie. So I'll let you borrow that. But if you haven't
Alright.
seen that out there, you should watch that if you're a Batman fan, because like I said, it is my favorite. The comic book alone is my favorite Batman story, but as far as Batman movies go, from the animated, from the live actions, from all those shits put together, The Dark Knight Returns Part 1 and 2 are my favorite. They rank higher even above the Nolan trilogy, and I think that shit's awesome too. So
That you heard it here. Chronic Confusion publicly endorses The Dark Knight Returns as the best Batman story ever. I'm fucking all up right now, man.
So that's a good place to end then, because Cody's stumbling over his words.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, thanks for watching and listening. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter. You see the links there on your screen. I ain't gonna hold your hand through this shit. Go to dubcast.tv, drop us a line in the comments and let us know what you want us to talk about in future episodes. Give us a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. It takes like 2 seconds. You got no excuse. And most importantly of all, watch out for the potholes. We'll talk to you later.